So for those of you who watched yesterday's video, you know what's going on with the AMG. So I'm on my way to the dealership right now to have the car looked at. I have an appointment at 1:30. It is 12:59 right now. This noise is so weird and it's bugging the shit out of me, and I want to know what's going on. So that's what we're going to find out right now. What the hell is this guy doing? Skateboarding in the middle of the street. So a lot of people have been leaving comments regarding what this might be, and trying to give their advice, and I appreciate that. Someone asked that is it still acting this way with the climate control off versus it being on, and I've checked both, and the whining noise is there no matter if the climate is on or not. So I honestly don't know what this is, and I'm very curious to find out what the actual problem is. So let's go to Mercedes so I can take it for a drive with a technician and see what's going on with the car. But before we do that, we're going to talk about this t-shirt that I'm wearing. Some of you have seen this already if you watched one of my videos about 2 videos ago. So many of you asked, where can you get this t-shirt? Also, it has the AMG insignia on the back. Now, this is no pun intended for my C43 friends. You do have an AMG, although it is a baby AMG. They are only available for a limited time, so 2 weeks from today, they are no longer for sale. So if you're interested in picking one up for yourself or a friend or a family member or whatever, you can do so at teespring.com/AutoVlog AMG, or one of the links provided in the description below. Now, we also have tank tops, but if you feel like picking up a hoodie as well, you can do so because they are also available. So from today, 2 weeks on, it's your chance to pick up a Do You Even AMG Bro t-shirt. All right, so here I am. It is actually the day after, and we're just gonna jump right into it here because I took the car to the dealership, and I had called my service advisor before I left, and I told her I want to take the car for a ride with a technician. So when I got to the dealership, the technician was ready to go and everything. He jumped in the car. They took me in right away, which I really appreciated. So we took it for a ride, and pretty much after 1 minute, he could tell right away the noise. And obviously he confirmed that that noise is not something that is normal. So we just took it right back to the dealership. I go and sit down in the lounge and just hang out for a while, walk around the dealership, check out their inventory like I always do when I go there. Go back to the lounge, and then 2 people out of the service department and the general manager, they come and sit down next to me with very serious faces. And it kind of got me a little worried. And they explained the situation. So this is what happened and why my car was making the noise. So many of you will remember that about a week ago, I had to take the car for its first service. It's mandatory for at least C63 AMGs to get their rear differential fluid flushed and then replaced. It's just something they do after a maximum of 2,000 miles. So I had like, I don't know, 1,800 on my car or something. I took it in, got it back, everything was fine. And then I started hearing this noise a few days after. So while we're sitting down, they're telling me that there was a mistake made during the service of the rear differential. Now, with most dealerships, especially Mercedes dealerships, they just pull the VIN of the car, and for whatever specific service they're gonna do, the right part number will pop up. In my case here, oil. And they just, you know, replace the oil, and that's that. But what ended up happening was that they put the wrong oil in my differential, which then caused it to make the noise. Now, after they told me this, I was pretty much a little stunned. I was shocked, and I was like, wow, yeah, that doesn't sound very good at all. So then now here's the kicker. They do not want to take any risks, which I agree with. There's no use in flushing that oil fluid, whatever you want to call it, that was put in my differential at the time of service, and then replace it with the correct oil. Since the car was making the whiny noise, there's obviously something that is not correct inside the differential. It's not lubricated correctly, whatever it is. Now, I didn't have the car for many days after the service was done. I hadn't put tons of miles on it or anything like that. But to eliminate the risk of something being severely wrong with my rear differential, it is going to be replaced. I'm getting a brand new rear differential put in the car. So again, to eliminate any risk of the current rear differential I have in my AMG C63s being damaged because of what happened, I'm getting a brand new one. Now obviously this will take a few days. I don't know exactly yet. They couldn't give me an exact ETA of when this will be finished and I can have my car back, but it's going to take a few days. And I also want to add, before anyone starts bombarding the comment section about, you know, schemy dealerships and so on, when I was told what had happened to my car and the mistake that had been made, I was told by the general manager of this dealership, which is a guy that I really like. He's a good dude. He's actually a year younger than me, and you know, he runs one of the most successful Mercedes-Benz dealerships in the country. You know, they were obviously very apologetic. He couldn't really explain exactly how this would happen, because as I mentioned, when the car gets to the service department and whatever service is needed done to that specific vehicle at that time, in my case a rear differential flush, they pull the VIN number and exactly what they need to do a proper service job. Somewhere in that process a mistake was made and the wrong oil was put in my car, which obviously absolutely sucks. I mean, I was very bummed out. I was kind of pissed off, but you know, it is what it is, and they're making it right. They're not like just changing the oil again and then risking something happening. I'm getting a brand new rear differential. Now obviously this is a normal. I only have 2,100 miles or something like that on the car, and I've had it for about 6 weeks. But again, it is what it is. I have to live with it, and everything will be made right again. I actually really like Bobby Rahal Mercedes as a dealership. As many of you know, I used to work as a car salesman myself, and I have to say that our Ford dealership at the time when I was working there is also a very good dealership. Although I have experienced many very schemy dealerships, Bobby Rahal Mercedes is not one of them. I have full faith in them. Even though the mistake was made at the dealership, I know they're going to make it right. So I wanted to underline that. I know there's going to be a bunch of people in the comment section, you know, starting to talk about, you know, schemy dealerships and they're clueless and all that stuff. And I know that is true for many of the dealerships. But the thing is, mistakes happen. It happened to my car, and it absolutely sucks, but you know, they're gonna make it right. I'm gonna have my car back here very soon. So this video is not about you know, throwing a dealership down the drain and you know how horrible dealerships is. But anyhow, enough about that. And to get to the bottom of that story is that I will have the car back here very soon, and the AMG videos will continue. I'll have a brand new rear differential in the car. I'll have to do a rear differential service again after 1,800 miles because I have a new one. Obviously that won't be at a cost to me, of course. But they gave me a loaner, which is pretty cool. So they initially wanted to give me a C300 convertible. And I explained to them I am too bald to have a convertible. It is extremely hot outside today. It is sunny, which I love, but I'm not going to be riding around in a convertible. So they gave me an option to pick something off their used car lot, which I did. And since I drive an AMG currently, it goes without saying that I wanted an AMG until my car is fixed. So this is the car I'm currently driving. Yep, I'm a soccer mom here for the coming days or a week or whatever it is. I am driving a 2015 Mercedes ML 63 AMG. Give you a little walk around here so you can see what the car looks like. I'm sure you've seen an ML Mercedes before. They're not uncommon on the roads. However, this is a 63 AMG. So being a 15, it doesn't have the 4-liter bi-turbo V8 that most AMGs are getting now. Like my car, the GTS, and the new E63 AMG as well. This one has the 5.5-liter V8, 518 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. got black Designo leather, dual panel moonroof. It's got 20-inch wheels, although they look extremely small on this SUV right here. Now, I am planning on doing a short review of this car. Since I have it, you know, in my possession for a few days here, might as well do a review of it. It's not the newest SUV Mercedes AMG out there on the market, but it's not very old either. It is a 15. It's the last year of the MLs before the GLEs came out in the GLE coupes or coupes. Now, this is an AMG. However, it is a completely different beast from my car, the AMG C63s. My car is a lot more brutal. Obviously, that is a little coupe that I have. This is a big, like 5,500 pound SUV. Although the engine is bigger, a little more horsepower, same amount of torque, you feel a big difference. There's no performance exhaust on this one either. We're gonna start it up here, obviously, very shortly. So obviously it sounds good, but there's no snap, crackle, and pops. Goes without saying, the ride is extremely different. This one is actually very comfortable. My car is comfortable too, but you know, even in comfort mode in my car, it is very stiff. The suspension, this one kind of glides around. It's a luxury SUV. So I'm not gonna waste any time here. I'm obviously gonna start it up so you guys can hear it. So there it is. Pretty cool to be able to drive around in an AMG SUV for a few days here. Hopefully it's shorter than longer than I have to drive this car, because I want my car back, of course. But yeah, review coming on this car here in the coming days. But now you guys know what's going on with my car. So that's that for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know there were a lot of people in the comment section as well trying to, you know, figure out what was going on with my car. They were giving me advice. It might be this, might be that. You know, I've had similar experiences and so on. So I appreciate that. I mean, we all know now what it ended up being. But there, I mean, at least it wasn't like failed turbos and stuff like that. You don't want that to happen after 2,000 miles. That would be kind of pathetic. But yeah, here we are. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're stopping by for the first time and you haven't already, please subscribe. Remember to follow me on Instagram as well. That's where I'll have more and more updates on the car as I get them myself. I'm mainly on Instagram when it comes to social media. But until next time, bye-bye.